Now, this is something that it's kind of been a theme of our show for the last number of years, where you guys have brought up, man, some of these really talented young players that the Jets have brought into the organization feels like they're losing some of that spark and optimism because they're just beaten down by what's happened. And I think you saw it right there, Willie, with Breece's comments, where he was asked about saying positive at 0-7, and he said, honestly, it's very difficult, it's hard. And he didn't just say it's hard because of what's going on right now, but hard because this has been every single season in one way or another since he's put on the green and white.
Yeah, because they've been forced to buy in with a new head coach, new quarterback, new system, and nothing's changed, right? And so that's a tough, because every coach will stand in front of a team at the beginning of the season and talk about buying into the system, buying into the journey, being there for your family, being there for your brother, and there's nothing coming positive out of that, right? And so now you start asking questions like, is it ever going to turn around, right? Because there have been many shots at different looks at different situations, and for Breece Hall, a guy who's now not being used, who, we can all sit here and attest that we think he's a damn good ball player. Now you start to question, then what am I really doing here, right? If I'm not able to help and I'm not able to turn this thing around, what am I doing? And, today's ball player, me and Bart was kind of on the outside of this, but there's no turnoff for these guys, right? When they go home, social media, they watch how bad. Now AI is here, so now, AI is on them. So it's tough, man, and the only way to get away from the game is turning it off, but then your family calls you. Your family calls to check on your mental state and where you're at. And so these guys have been in this kind of nightmare for 3 or 4 years, where if it's not social media, if it's not the media itself, if it's not their family, or if it's not the organization, kind of this tornado type aspect where everywhere they look is just it's misery. There's no way of feeling good about it. And these guys are still young, in their prime. And that's when you start having a conversation with yourself in the mirror. Am I wasting my prime on an organization that seems like they can't get right? And every man has to ask themselves that question.
Yeah, and Connor, I want to hear your thoughts on this in a second, too. But just to your point, to put a little bookend on it, when it comes to social media, it's not just hearing things on social media, but these guys now are expressing themselves via social media. We saw that with Breece Hall this week. And Jermaine Johnson just 10 minutes ago put out a tweet laying it all out there, man, something's got to give. It's a palpable level of frustration and almost disbelief from this group of players.
Right, because think of how many different approaches, for young players they've been sold, right? Whether it's you have a number 2 overall pick at quarterback in Zach Wilson and a young play caller. Okay, now we're going to get an experienced guy in Aaron Rodgers because that didn't work with a veteran play caller. And then we go back to a first-time play caller with a quarterback that's in the middle of the pack that has some experience but hasn't had a lot of success. And those are variables that are outside of your control, but often they dictate your success when you're a running back or a wide receiver, is the quarterback and the play calling. Because if you don't have both those things, you could be taken out of the game very easily. So Breece, who handles himself extremely well in those press conferences, he has the right to be as frustrated as he wants to be. Actually, you almost kind of don't know how he doesn't even let out more emotion at this point, because they've tried everything and they aren't finding the right results.
And this was a group, Sauce, Jermaine Johnson, Vera Tucker, but even, not so much the Vera Tucker group, the 3 first-round draft picks, Breece Hall, they thought they were going to be the pack that was going to change this thing around, and they were going to be able to live in the glory days, and they're going to be saying, we're the group that changed the Jets' narrative around, and look at us now, we're going to grow old together, play well, bounce off of each other. Sauce got his money, Garrett got his money, and Breece has been in the papers or the tabloids about being traded, right? So, I mean, at this point, I'm wondering what type of conversation he's having with his team, saying maybe, because the reason why I didn't go back to Detroit, because I don't want to waste the prime years of my life not playing meaningful football. We paid too big of a price. The injuries we still deal with today, the pain we wake up in, the future surgeries we have to have, the head injuries and trauma and stuff like that, for nothing? Not for a chance to even forget, going to the playoffs, play meaningful games. It's not even Halloween, and I already know it's a trick. It ain't no treats. And, that's really where, especially for a guy like Breece who gets hit every time he touches the ball, right? For guys like that takes that type of pounding, for him, he has to understand his football life is maybe shorter than that of a left tackle, shorter than that of a quarterback, shorter than that of a even middle linebacker. If you hear a running back saying that he went 9 years, you applaud him.
Right.
Breece is halfway there.
Right.
Yeah, it's It's very difficult to imagine what it's like being, and back to, I can't remember which one of you guys made this point, but the last few years early on, some of these guys came out to Citi Field and threw out first pitches and did this and that, and I can confirm that they genuinely believed this was going to be the group that turned it around.
Yeah.
And they understood what they were coming into, and the fact that it has gone this way has to be completely stunning to them, given what they thought was going to happen.
I think it's becoming one of the hardest. Like, there's a lot wrong with the Jets organization, top to bottom. But us doing this show, this is my 4th season, so I kind of came in during this era, and to watch them deteriorate emotionally over the years is. Honestly, it's very difficult to watch.
You don't even talk to Quinnen anymore. Quinnen, like, man, I ain't talking to nobody.
Right, Quinnen, who leaves it all.
He should be one of the guys speaking. He tell them. I'm sure that he made sure that nobody talked to me.
Yeah, it's just they deserve better. I mean, honestly, they do. And it just to me, it feels like we're at the point where Breece is going to be yet another story of a New York Jet that has his best year somewhere else.
Yes.
And I think that's going to start in November of this year. That's my personal opinion. I'm not saying it's the right or wrong decision. And the Jets need to look themselves in the mirror, the deepest parts of the organization, and say, why does this continue to happen? As you see, Sam Darnold is one of the most efficient passers in the NFL, but it's bigger than just Sam Darnold. There's so many players that are getting second or third chances and capitalizing on them. Why is this happening, and why is our infrastructure failing us and these guys over and over again?